Coming up next on St. Paul Forum, we speak with organizers of the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival, and they'll let you know why you need to attend this year's parade. Welcome to St. Paul Forum. I'm your host, Georgia Ford. This week, we're going to be taking a look at the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival. It's coming up here soon, and you definitely want to attend. We have two of the organizers of the parade here with us, Tracy Nelson, as well as Darlene LaBelle. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Now, it's very exciting. The Payne Parade is something that's always talked about within St. Paul, something myself, growing up in St. Paul, always look forward to. But I do understand this has been around for a long, long time.
Yes.
Yes, the parade has been around 112 years on the east side of St. Paul. And what's different about the parade this year is, because I'm new to the east side, we're trying to make the parade a little more culturalistic, different cultures in the parade. And we're also trying to get other units from different sides, like from the west side or these different areas of St. Paul in the parade also. And what else is different about the parade this year, because we also have the Taste of Payne after the parade. But also in the parade, we have our Grand Marshal this year is Fred Yaruso. He'll be our Grand Marshal. And we are trying to get different floats and different units in there. So it'll be, people will like to come and see it. They'll say, oh, that parade was great when we all saw it. I want to focus on a great family time when people come to it, and so they think about it next year.
Absolutely. Now, I know you mentioned briefly the Taste of Payne. Can you elaborate a little bit? What can people expect?
This year, with the Taste of Payne, it was created by the Payne Arcade Business Association, the committee, the Harvest Festival Committee, because the businesses on Payne, they want people to stroll along Payne Avenue after the parade. Okay, that's what they want. And I go, okay, well, what are they going to do? So what they're going to do is they're going to grab a ticket. Everybody grabs it, they get a ticket when they enter a store, and then they purchase something that's on discount. Then they put a ticket in a jar. Okay, and then after they go into each store that's on the brochure, they'll see it. And then at the end of the parade, or end of the day, we will grab all the tickets, and then we'll tally them up, and then they'll win three prizes. They've got first prize, second prize, and third prize. And so that's what we'll do a week after, and we'll notify the winners. Nice. But this is the way so we can get more people involved on the Payne and bring it up, a more positive, oh, Payne is really great, instead of the stereotypical, attitude people have about, certain areas of the east side.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to get at. So, because that's the whole event. So there's businesses. The Payne Avenue is changing. There's new businesses. There's this Cajun Life that's new. We have
the library.
The library.
Beautiful.
There's another one. It's called Caribou. It's not open yet, and that's a new African American store that's opening up there. And that's just brand new. It's not even open up yet.
The music venue.
The music
which
venue.
Is
yes.
underway.
It'll be at the old Swedish Bank building on the corner of Payne and Case when it does open, so that's fun.
So it's really cool to see the development and all of the new businesses. I know the festival is for the residents, but how important is this to the businesses that have been on Payne Avenue for decades?
Yeah.
I think it's important because then people will see the old family type East Siders who's had their businesses for like 60 years. Like Anderson's and Donald's, I believe, because I'm a newcomer to the East Side. When I see these people lasted with their businesses on Payne Avenue, and they know the community.
Well,
they know
our Grand Marshal this year.
And our Grand Marshal,
he's
Generations
deep owned Italian eatery on Payne
Which is
Avenue.
delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
And Morelli's, can't forget about Morelli's. And we can't forget about, as you enter Payne, you see Greg's Auto Body, then you see Minnesota Music Cafe, and you keep, and them businesses have been there for a very long time.
Decades.
And as you go further down, we used to have Merit Community Services there, but they moved. But that was a service
They're up
center
on
for
Arcade,
people.
and it's the Payne Arcade
Yep.
Business Association, so we're still okay.
So
We
I
have
want
them.
to see people coming. Oh, they are. It's getting. Changes occur all the time. And so in a community, because when I did, on the west side, Cinco de Mayo, I see the change on Payne now. It's coming gradually,
Yep.
but it's moving slowly, but it's coming. And people have different, attitudes about change. And I go, but
That's true.
change, you have to make it for the better. You have to make it for the positive. And that's what we want people to see, because what is a community without a parade? That's
Yeah.
what I like to,
Yeah.
because I go, wow, they don't even have a parade? But they do have a parade. And then, because when I came, I really didn't know about the parade until I came on board. And I said, wow, they do have a parade.
Yep.
So, and that's when, I'm also looking for some more sponsors for the parade. Always looking for sponsors, so I need sponsors.
That always helps.
Yes, and the people who I have contact regarding sponsors, please call me, because I'm going to be calling you back, okay? So,
Now, Tracy, I know you mentioned a little bit about the buttons that you guys are doing this year, and it's not brand new. It's not a brand new concept, but something you guys are kind of bringing back because it worked in the past, and both of you beautiful ladies are wearing your buttons today. What are the buttons? What do they represent, and
Well,
how do people get them?
Yeah, so I'll give you a brief package history on it. The buttons have been around for decades, but they kind of went away for about 10 years when the business community had kind of sunk back during the recession. When we brought the idea back, the Lions Club brought it back to PABA and said, why not do this? It might be an extra fundraiser, and we can, instead of having a walking procession, have a real parade again. So we did start that program 6 years ago to initiate that and to get our service club recognized in the neighborhood, because we can't give if people don't know who we are. So what the program does is it's an invitation. So invitation to the businesses and organizations to participate during Harvest Festival. And then what they get is a sponsor button and 20 small buttons in their package. They're encouraged to have a Harvest Fest special to invite their customers to come back. And they invite their customers by selling them their buttons. Over the past 6 years, we've graduated from just selling them to businesses and them having a few specials to 40, 50 plus businesses in the neighborhood participating. So there's quite a few participants. We added a treasure hunt last year, so we are similar to Winter Carnival on a smaller scale. But since the east side of St. Paul is 1/3 of St. Paul, we have quite the map area to hit it up. And somebody wins $250 if they register their button and find the treasure. Ultimately, our button specials happen Harvest Fest weekend. So the parade's the highlight on Saturday at noon on the 22nd, but our button specials start on Thursday, and they go through Sunday, and everybody has different ones. Our Grand Marshal this year has probably the best special out there. It's buy one, get one free spaghetti. So you spend $3 on a button and you get a $10 meal.
So if I want a button, I need to go shop on Payne.
Yes, or Arcade, and those businesses are, and some, it's more than just locally side. I have businesses that have connections because they went to Johnson or they went to Harding, and they are outside our area. Culver's and Sunray buys our buttons. Tin Cups over on Rice Street buys our buttons. Jimmy's in Baptist Heights has supported our program in the
Tracy,
past.
now people are going to think I'm biased, because you pointed out I am a Harding alum, so I do
too.
favor the East Side.
I went to Johnson and Harding, so I hear you, right? People
Our
get
big
me from
rivals.
both ways.
So yeah, I was going to say you can't really pick a side there.
No, I'm a Harding Govey, or a Knight Govey, Govey Knight, whatever you want to say, yeah.
So we've kind of discussed the history of the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
What are some of the fun activities that some of the kids will look forward to?
Yeah,
maybe we should talk
Yeah.
about the Salvation Army.
Yeah, well, and we can talk about a little bit about the events leading up to Harvest Fest and then how they correlate to community. Our service club started this treasure hunt to give more reason to participate, and the more events that we supported throughout the years all focus on getting more people to the parade, because the more people that are at the event, the better the event is, So first is our treasure hunt that starts September 7th, goes through the 16th. On the back of every one of the buttons is a number, except for this one because it's mine. Hers has a number. And it has our website. Our website is eslions.com. They go register their button, and then the 7th through the 16th of September. You can go online and see the clues. They'll be on
Oh, cool.
Facebook and Instagram as well. When the treasure hunt winner finds the treasure, we have to honor them at our annual Harvest Festival Awards dinner. That's going to be at the American Legion on Wednesday night prior to Harvest Fest weekend. We have a very nice dinner. They had filet mignon, pepper steak, and things like that last year. And then we have a bundt cake competition, which we encourage everyone to bring a bundt cake. The bundt cake competition is fun because it's a baking contest during a festival, you know. But we have a couple of judges, and whatever's left over becomes our dessert. So if you like bundt cake, you should come, right? We honor our treasure hunt winner. We honor the student that drew the background of this button. We have a drawing contest every spring that lets the community children get involved. So that's kind of our first part of connecting children to the event, giving them a little heads up the spring before. This actually is done by Simone Hunter, 13-year-old from CPA last spring. She was our button drawing winner.
Go Simone.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. She gets to ride in our float in the parade. The Lions Club has a float, so that'll be great. We also recognize the Grand Marshal. Yeah, they'll be announced at the dinner. And we recognize the business that sells the most buttons because they've been giving out the most invitations, which is great. Then Thursday night, the night that the button specials start, we have our third annual hot dog eating contest because you have to have a fun food spectator sport for part of a festival. That's going to be at Brunson's, which is the old Schweitz's. So if somebody's not familiar with Brunson's, which they should be by now, I think they won second place in the Minnesota Burger Challenge last year, didn't they?
Oh,
The big one down on Harrod Island. I think they did the no pain, no gain burger, which if you haven't had it, it's amazing. But their upstairs is open now, so we're going to have the hot dog eating contest up there, and it is going to be a beer bust between 5 and 7, hot dog contest at 6. And last year, hoping for this year, the owner rented a hot dog costume. Because that's funny, right? Little Molly's running around with a hot dog costume on. We give away a wiener award because that's hilarious, and some gift cards. On Friday, we're going to have our first annual car show up at the American Legion, the Lions Club and
that's
the
new.
Legion. That's new this year. Lion Rebecca Nelson's in charge of that. And all of this information, again, is on our website at eslions.com. If there's anybody who wants to get involved in any of these events, buy tickets. Pre-sale tickets are at a discount price. Then Saturday, big parade day, 6 years ago, we started having a pancake breakfast at Arlington Hills Lutheran Church, which is right outside parade lineup. And we started having it so that the parade participants and neighborhood have a natural gathering place before they go out to their parade units in the morning. So we do share some tickets with the parade participants to invite them to come. And then we have a Booyah to Go that we started last year. And that's kind of a fun event for everybody if you like Booyah. I'd never had Booyah before we had the Booyah. So besides years ago when I lived over off of Case and Edgerton, I had the VFW Booyah during Harvest Festival. But we had a new president last year, and his dad used to make the Booyah at the VFW on Payne years ago, and I guess he had the recipe. So we had the old recipe Booyah, so that was fun. Then we get everybody fed and happy out the door to the parade, and then for the rest of the day, there's a number of activities, but the focus this year for Payne Arcade Business Association is on the Taste of Payne. So lots of fun.
And I think it's because it's the first year doing it, it'll be exciting.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, Taste of Pain,
Yeah.
Well, and if you are just joining us, we are speaking with the organizers of the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival this week on St. Paul Forum. Now, I know we discussed a little bit about the button program, but I'm curious to know exactly how much does it cost to participate, and is there any way to participate outside of actually purchasing a button?
As far as the buttons program, they're $3 a button. They are available at the list of retailers that's on our website, and every one of the retailers has a sheet like this up in their business. So you can go purchase one that way. As far as the treasure hunt, you'd have to have a button and have it registered, just like Winter Carnival, to be able to be eligible for the $250 cash prize. It also works as a discount pass to some of those events like I'd mentioned. To participate with Harvest Festival as a whole, there's no fee to come out and enjoy the parade. If you're going to go eat pancakes at the pancake breakfast, there's tickets at the door without a button. It just saves you some money if you have one, that kind of thing. But there's lots of things you can do. Arlington Hills Community Center Family Fest. They have that from 1 to 3 in the afternoon after the parade, and they're going to have a climbing wall. I heard they were going to have a face painter. Usually the Mounted Patrol is up there from the St. Paul PD.
And Cajun Life is having.
Yep.
Cajun Life is having a bouncing house also.
Nice.
And they're having some activities out there by their business along next to the church. They're helping them too.
Right.
So-
Because Cajun Life is that new business right across from the community center. I know that YMCA is having their annual open house that day over on Arcade Street because it's the Payne Arcade Business Association. We encourage both avenues and everybody in the in-between to participate. The American Legion up on Arcade as well. They're having their own little after party that promotes their button special. Let's see, Eastgate Ministries from the Josiah Center. They are having a block party on Rose after the parade that day. It was like a hip hop Christian party. It was,
Yes.
Fun deal
And
last year.
they have rap artists that rap Christian,
Yeah.
Christian
Awesome.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, being from St. Paul, I know I'm familiar with, Grand Old Days, you have Rondo Days, you have the Rice Street Parade. So how is the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival different from these other celebrations? And what is it that you want people from communities outside of Payne Arcade to know about the celebration, and if they're curious about coming, but they're not from the neighborhood?
Well, I think learning more about our neighborhood for what it is, not what you hear on the news, is a huge perspective as far as I'm concerned. There are, like I said, 100,000 people. We're a third of St. Paul. The majority of what takes place in our neighborhood is absolutely positive and like everyone else's neighborhood. But when you have 100,000 people, if 1% of crime and blight isn't going to get to speak for everybody if we have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So we want to encourage people to come out, participate, have fun, save money, and know what East Side Pride means, because we have it,
And I'd like
You got it too. I can tell. She got that look on her face like, yeah,
I would
East
like
Side
to
Pride.
invite people from other communities to come to Payne Arcade because I'm new to the East Side too, and I really want the people to come to see what it's the last parade before school starts.
Yep.
Bring your children. They'll have fun. The Taste of Payne is going to be exciting because it's the first, and that's something different. The Taste of Payne. The street won't be closed, but you can go up and down the businesses, and you can see the different businesses that are on Payne. So, and that's what I think is interesting.
Well, and I think Payne Avenue is really unique in the sense that, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are really no franchises.
No, our
For
neighborhood
the
is
most part,
very.
they're all locally owned
I remember being at a
businesses.
community council meeting about 6-7 years ago, and we were talking about the successes of the East Side, Ward 6, and Sweet Hollow Cafe, and some of these little nook, and of course the traditionals, the Yerusos and Magnolias and things like that. And someone said, "Oh, it'd be great if there was a Chipotle." I mean, the whole room was like, "Rah!" And they just freaked out. They were like, that is what we cherish about our neighborhood, that it is, authentic, and it's not corporate, and it's, it's real ma and pa shop people.
Yeah, we have Buy More over there.
Yeah.
On Payne Avenue. We have, what's the other one called? Supermercado, the cafe.
Right. Well, you got Plaza
Got the
Latina,
Plaza
you got Plaza del
Latina.
Sol, the Taqueria, which is part of Buy More.
And
their
East Side
family.
Thai.
Yeah, East Side Thai. Ace Hardware is a great example. Years ago, this festival was run for a number of years, and everybody seems to remember his name by Bill Godwin. He was kind of the face of Harvest Festival back in the day, and he owned the Ace Hardware store that was on the corner of Maryland and Payne Avenue. And he was, from what I remember of him, I only met him a couple of times, and I didn't talk with him. I'm like in a crowd of people talking to him. And he was kind of a gruff but very friendly guy, and you can just see him picking up the phone going, "Yeah, you're in the parade, give me $100. Okay, good, write it out, bye." And hang up and go on to the next one. Do you know what I mean? This is just how he got everybody involved. And when he said come, they came and showed up, and it was great. The new Ace Hardware, because that one had burnt down a number of years ago, and I think everybody brought a screen there if you'd been around the neighborhood at some point. Can you fix my screen? The new Ace Hardware is owned by Kendall Crosby and his wife, and I really like that when they took over this new but old venture in the neighborhood, even a new beautiful building right on the, Phelan Boulevard, which was a huge multi-billion-dollar project to bring back commerce and industry to the neighborhood after we lost 3M and after we lost Whirlpool. And it really has. I mean, we have Health East and a million things. But when they adopted this new business that had kind of an old fond memory of the neighborhood to it, they kind of kept that theme. Because if you go in there, there's a big, beautiful dog. There's a couple kitties walking around, and that was what you remembered about the old Hayes Hardware above and beyond Bill Godwin was you'd walk up and there's his cat in the window. That's right. You're just at home and with your neighborhood folks, so it's good.
They still have the dog, I believe.
And the cat. The cat was on the counter when I stopped in the other day to bring back the tent from our cornfield. Yeah, so good stuff.
Well, it sounds super exciting, and I know if you're watching, one thing you have noticed is there's kind of like a reoccurring theme of food.
Yes.
It almost sounds like every event that you guys have planned from Thursday all the way up until, is it Sunday?
Yeah, Wednesday's the Harvest Fest dinner, and then we have our button specials through Sunday, but the food events go through Saturday for sure. Yeah.
So you have the pancake breakfast, you have the hot dog eating contest.
And
Car
then
show, there
on
will be
Sunday,
food. The egg roll queen will be there with her egg rolls. Just saying.
and on Sunday we have the Sandlot baseball at Duluth.
They actually moved it back till Saturday, but
okay.
same time. That's sponsored by the Eastside Optimist Club,
Okay.
and there was a conflict in schedule, so they did just move that back, and I just took it off the schedule this week.
All right.
Well,
And
the
moved it to
good thing
Saturday.
about that, I think, is that this is fluid right now, and so people may still have an opportunity
Yeah,
to get involved.
absolutely.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the parent organizations who are partnering together to put this on, and how people, businesses, especially if they're interested in getting on board this late in the game, how they can still?
Okay, PABA stands for the Payne Arcade Business Association. They have 17 board members. Okay, and they are in charge of the Harvest Festival Parade this year. And so we came in contact with Eastside Lions because they helped us last year, and they do the buttons. And to me, the Eastside Lions to me is like the Westside Boosters. And I go, you guys are like the Boosters. And I go, and they go,
I
well,
mean, that's something to live up to right there, because West Side Boosters are, right?
And I said, and I'm glad they're involved with us because this is, to me, it's a community event. It's just not one organization holds everything,
Right.
And that's what brings the community together. Because I believe you have your immediate family, then you have your extended family, then you have your church family,
Right.
then you have your community family, and it all blends in together.
Right.
And if you can't get all them families together, it's not,
Right.
So that's how I see it. And I go, in order, but PABA is a great organization. There are businesses down Payne Avenue, and they've been doing this for the last 6-7 years, the parade. And
Longer than that,
it's,
yeah. Even
it's-
before
it's-
it was the big parade again. They did
and
it when it was the big
we do
parade
have a
before,
struggle
too.
because we do have to fundraise for the parade every year. And if you want to still get your application in, you can just email me at drlnlabelle58@gmail.com, or you can go to paba-stpaul.org to apply still, because I'm extending it another couple days. Okay. And then I'll be sending the confirmation letters out.
What are the costs for businesses who want to participate?
I think for, what was
If they're
it?
a member.
A member, you don't have to pay. Nonprofits, $25. Political campaigns, I think $125.
Yep.
And schools.
Another thing to mention is-
And bands.
Right.
So very
every-
affordable.
But for high school bands, we have to pay some high school bands to play.
Right.
Because they need the money.
But if they're a entertainment unit, so music unit, a float, royalty program, something that's on an entertainment value that will bring additional people to the parade, there is no charge for them for sure.
Some we have to pay.
Some we have to pay, but if there's others out there that saw this and just want to come because they love us, come on, we want you. I know.
Yeah, and we do have, the St. Paul Clown Club. We have the St. Paul Police Band in there, So now we do have, I'm trying to get a couple of the high school bands in there. I'm even trying to get Humboldt High School Band in our parade.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to cross borders here because I think the more communities involved to bring it a more cultural event, it'll see how Payne Avenue is changing.
Yeah. And Harding Drumline did it for a number of years.
Yes.
Robert Pilot over there, yeah.
Well, 112 years, there's got to be some really fond memories that, especially, I know you have been a part of this for many, many years. Can you share maybe like your favorite memory of one of the parades in the past?
Well, I'll have to jump around a bit, but my earliest memory of Harvest Festival, I'm a born and bred East Sider. I live in Little Canada now, but I'm still there every day because I work there and I do my volunteerism there. But when my grandmother brought me with my aunt, and so this is my grandmother's sister, Aunt Diddy, right? And we went down there for the sidewalk sales because they used to have sidewalk sales all along the avenue, and then there was food trucks and events. Then if I jumped to high school, like when I was a sophomore over at Johnson, I lived off the corner of Case and Edgerton, and so I'm a block away. Of course, you got to be there and involved. And I think I snuck in somewhere that I shouldn't sneak in. But that was a lot of fun.
Tracy.
And I remember the parades. But I would straight be lying if I didn't say that. So, and you can cut it out if you'd like. Anywho, jumping ahead to my 20s, I remember the huge parties behind Schweitz's. They used to have a big tent, and there was bands that were really popular around the cities, like Uncle Chunk, and I think they might have got their start there back in the day. And it was just, if you talk to people, you hear about people being up on the rooftops and, watching the parade from these different venues and the different establishments they went into and had fun, and the different music that they heard. And it was really all over the neighborhood. And jumping forward to now, present day, it was about 6 years ago that I got involved in it, and I came from the Lions Club to the PAPA meeting, and that's where we started having the conversation about the Buttons program. And that year they were having a walking procession on Payne because it costs money to have a parade. And it even costs money to have a walking procession, believe it or not. But if you're walking and you don't have any mobile units with wheels, it costs a lot less for insurance and permitting. So we recreated a long-held program, which was this Buttons program. I'd actually gotten the idea from one of our Lions Club members who had every button for 40 years up on his shelf in a shop up at Alexander Jewelers. And I won't mention his name just in case he doesn't want me to, but he was Alexander Jewelers. I already said it, right? Anywho, the idea took off like those great ideas when you walk into a meeting and go, hey, well, what about this? And someone says, great idea, why don't you do it? So I did. And our club supported it, and we went for it. So it helped it regrow and raise enough money the next year that we could actually have a big parade. So our Lions Club is grateful that we had that opportunity to participate and help the parade come back as a parade. And I actually was the parade coordinator for the first 4 years, along with a couple other people the first 2. And then until 2016, that year I ran for office, ran the parade, and ran the Buttons program, and had a granddaughter. So yeah. So the next year I said, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
and so Ann and Darlene took over. That was awesome.
We want to thank you both for all of your very hard work on behalf of the community in putting this together. It sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal weekend of entertainment for everyone who comes out and participates. If you guys would like more information on the Payne Arcade Harvest Festival, we will have those links available for you on our website, spnn.org. Thank you for tuning in this week to St. Paul Forum.
Thank you for having us.